Good evening, Nghi, and welcome to your IELTS lesson. This is lesson number 7. Today we move on to a new unit, Unit 4, Writing. Let's have a look. Okay, Nghi, welcome to Unit 4, Finance and Business. So we'll be writing about this topic for this unit, and please read aloud the unit content.
In this unit, you will learn how to produce a balanced agree-disagree essay, write an introduction and conclusion for this type of essay, use a range of discourse markers to help sequence your ideas logically, understand exactly what the essay question is asking you to write.
Thank you very much. So you see, in Unit 4, we return to IELTS Writing Task 2, and specifically agree or disagree essay. So before we move into the practice section of the unit, let's learn some more about agree or disagree essay or opinion essay. So remember, for IELTS Writing Task 2, there are 5 main question types: opinion or agree or disagree, discussion, advantage, disadvantage, problem solution, and direct questions. So today we'll look at opinion essay. So these are some examples. So first off, you'll be given some kind of opinion in the form of statements. For example, prevention is better than cure. Researching and treating disease is too costly, so it would be better to invest in preventative measures. To what extent do you agree? So you see, there will be some kind of background information together with some opinion. Yeah, and we must express our opinion on the issue. All right, with increased global demand in oil, gas, undiscovered areas of the world should be opened up to access more resources. To what extent do you agree? We live in a world of technology these days. While the internet brings it with it clear advantages, the problems in terms of control and security of information outweighs the advantages. To what extent do you agree? So you see, there are some kind of views, and you must express your own opinion about it. They may ask you, do you agree or disagree? So you simply state you agree or disagree. But if they ask you, to what extent you agree, to what extent you disagree or agree or disagree. So if they ask you to what extent, you have to do one more little thing. You have to say the degree of your agreement or disagreement. So you see, the question, the way IELTS ask you will affect how you answer. Okay, so remember, if it's just simply, do you agree or disagree? You just say, I agree, I think, I believe, or I don't think, I disagree. Yeah, but remember, if they ask you to what extent, remember to add an adverb to express the degree of your agreement or disagreement. So it may be, I strongly agree, I somewhat agree, I strongly disagree, I somewhat disagree. Okay. So for opinion essay, remember to spend at least 5 minutes analyzing the words and ideas in a statement. Why you have to do this is because when you understand what the question is giving you, what it is asking you, you know better how to answer it well and completely. Okay, so when you understand the question, make sure your answer is a complete answer which addresses all parts of the task. And you need to give your opinion clearly. Stay true to your opinion as well. So if you agree, you stick to it, all right? You don't deviate into other aspects. Okay, and the final tip is to follow a safe opinion essay model. So we will have a look at an essay model. Okay, so once again, the steps are think and plan, write and check. Okay, and when you think and plan, it's a good idea to plan according to a model, according to a structure: introduction, body, conclusion. Okay, introduction with a background and plan, body paragraphs with the topic sentences and supporting sentences, and the conclusion with the summary and the closing. So now let's have a look at the opinion essay. I'd like Nghi, can you please read aloud the question?
Many people believe that social networking sites such as Facebook have had a huge negative impact on both individuals and society. To what extent do you agree?
Thank you very much. So now, what I meant by analyzing clearly. So first off, look at the keywords. So many people believe social networking sites. All right, so this is a keyword. So the topic is about social media and particularly social networking sites. And you can have Facebook as an example. Okay, have had a huge negative impact on both individuals and society. So that's what the statement is saying. So the statement is saying for individuals, for the people who use that, and for society as a whole, social networking site can only be seen as having a huge negative impact. Bad influence, very bad influence. Okay, so those are the keywords. So now, when you have analyzed the statement and understand the keywords and the message, the next step is to formulate your own answer. To what extent you agree or disagree. So Nghi, if you were writing this essay, what would you say? What would your opinion be?
I think that I agree with the statement, but I think that it also has many benefits to individuals and society.
But you cannot say you agree and then you say there are many benefits, right? If you agree, you have to point out the negative impacts. Okay? Yeah, so the problem here is you must stick to your opinion. Okay? So if you agree that there are huge negative impacts, please focus on that and point out the negative impact of social media on the individual level and the negative impact of social media on societal level. Okay, remember, stick to your opinion and develop that because that is your main argument. However, as you said, even though you agree there are huge negative impacts, you still think, so you still somewhat disagree, you still think that there are positive impacts. So you can say that. You can say that in a body paragraph. So if you want to look at both sides of the issue, you can do that. You can use one body paragraph for the agree side because you agree, right? You think that there are huge negative impacts. So you have one body paragraph for the agree side. And then you have one body paragraph for the disagree side, pointing out the positive impacts of social networking sites. Okay, the benefits. Yeah. However, do not go into too much detail for the benefits. You can even counter argue the benefits. Yeah, if you want to stress on the drawbacks. Yeah. Okay, so what I mean here is don't forget your opinion. Your opinion will be your main idea, and you have to develop your main arguments to support your opinion. You shouldn't say, I agree there are huge negative impacts, but there are also benefits, because you might go off topic and your opinion might not be clear. Okay. All right, so remember, whatever your opinion, stay clear to that. I agree. So you point out the negative impacts, such as 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then you can mention 1 or 2 positive impacts and then counter argue that, so that your essay is stronger, so that your opinion is clearer. Okay. So now let's analyze it. Let's analyze a sample writing. Okay, and after we read the sample essay from Miss IELTS list, okay, we'll know another interesting approach to this question. All right. So, yeah, please spend around 5 minutes reading this essay on your own silently, and then we'll discuss the writer's opinion and how the writer developed her argument.
Dạ em xong rồi.
Ok, cô cảm ơn Nghi đã cho biết nhé. Right. Vậy thì sau khi đọc xong thì Nghi thấy opinion, cái quan điểm của cô Liz khi viết bài này là thế nào ạ?
Dạ cô có một cái opinion rất là độc đáo.
Ừ.
Ở đoạn đoạn hơn hơn bài đầu tiên thì cô viết là nó có lợi nhưng mà chỉ lợi với cá nhân thôi, còn đoạn thứ hai thì cô viết là nó có hại nhưng mà hại với cộng đồng, nó không nói về cá nhân.
Ừ, đó, thế nên cô mới chia sẻ với Nhi là cái cách tiếp cận của bài này cũng khá là thú vị đúng không ạ? Đó là cô giáo đã tận dụng cái đề, họ chia ra là on both individuals and society. Đó thì cô đã tận dụng cái đề họ chia ra thành hai mảng như vậy. Đó, và cô cũng chia cái lập luận của cô ra thành hai mảng. Nếu mà phải quay về là to what extent you agree or disagree thì chúng ta có thể khẳng định là cô ấy disagree với đề ở khía cạnh individual và agree với đề ở khía cạnh society. Đó, nên chúng ta thấy là body paragraph one thì cô đề cập vấn đề gì Nhi nhỉ?
Dạ là cô nói là nó có lợi cho cá nhân bởi vì Facebook giúp liên lạc và có thể cung cấp những cái dịch vụ mà kết bạn online.
Chính xác. Đó. Thì như vậy cô dành nguyên một cái body paragraph 1 để phân tích vấn đề ở cấp độ cá nhân. Và cụ thể ở đây là cô ấy disagree với đề ở cấp độ cá nhân. Và vì thế, vì disagree đúng không ạ? Nên là cô nêu ra là các cái ưu điểm, các cái điểm lợi của Facebook với cái người sử dụng cá nhân. Ok. Đó thì Nghi sẽ lại thấy cho cô cái cách sắp xếp bài rất là rõ ràng nhé. Đó, thì cô sẽ đánh dấu đây. Đầu tiên nhá, đoạn đầu tiên là background này. Đó, thì Nghi để ý xem cái cách mà cô giáo diễn giải cái đề nhé, để biến nó thành một phần trong bài viết của mình. Đó, phần thứ hai là plan, là cô trả lời. Đó, thì Nghi cũng có thể tham khảo cái cách này. Đó, và tuy nhiên Nghi sẽ để ý cho cô là mặc dù cô ấy cô chia cái quan điểm của mình, cái phân tích của mình thành hai phần, individual và local communities. Mặc dù có sự chia như thế nhưng tất cả mọi thứ, tất cả mọi quan điểm ở hai khía cạnh nó đều rất rõ ràng. With regards to individual, with regards to individuals, the impact that online social media has had on each individual person has clear advantages. Đó, thì khi mình viết như thế này, mình chắc chắn là theo một phe như thế này thì cái opinion của mình nó rất là rõ và nó rất là dễ viết. Đó, thế nên là chúng ta thấy là các cái phần còn lại đúng không ạ? Firstly, secondly, đó, chúng ta thấy two supporting ideas. Hai cái đấy nó ủng hộ, nó triển khai cho cái câu chủ đề là advantages, clear advantages of online social media on individual people, individual person. Đó. Và như thế thì khi mà chúng ta đi theo một hướng thôi ạ, thì nó sẽ dễ viết, quan điểm của chúng ta sẽ dễ dàng, rõ ràng, và mình không bị rơi vào cái bẫy là tôi thấy nó có điểm lợi nhưng nó cũng có điểm đó. Thế nên là Nghi cũng nhớ cho cô khi mình viết một cái bài nào đó nhé, mình nhớ là quan điểm phải rõ ràng. Ok, đến phần số 2, body 2 đúng không ạ? Đó, chúng ta thấy on the other hand, the effect of Facebook and other social networking sites have had on societies and local communities can only be seen as negative. Right. Và vì nó là negative nên là cô giáo đã phân tích cái vấn đề là they take more interest in people online rather than the local community, và sau đó consequently local communities are disjointed, fragmented. Furthermore, right. Đó, thì Nghi sẽ thấy cho cô là hai cái đoạn thân bài này cấu trúc nó khá tương đồng nhưng mà chiến lược nó hoàn toàn khác nhau. Cấu trúc nó tương đồng ở chỗ là nó đều bắt đầu bằng topic sentence rất là rõ ràng. Đó, advantages for the individuals. Như vậy đây là disagree với đề. Và negative for the societies and local communities, đây là agree với đề. Đó, nhưng body one thì bởi vì nó nêu các cái advantage nên thường người ta sẽ liệt kê các cái ưu điểm. Đó, firstly, secondly. Đó, tuy nhiên là với body 2 thì họ đang phân tích một cái vấn đề, và để làm rõ một cái việc gì đấy nó là một vấn đề thì thường người ta sẽ nêu cái nguyên nhân và hệ quả. Thì Nhi sẽ thấy cái cách cô phân tích triển khai ý và cách cái cô dùng các cái discourse markers nó cũng rất là phù hợp để triển khai cái nội dung trong đoạn văn nhé. Rather than taking part in local community, they take more interest in people online. Consequently, people within local communities are no longer forming close supportive relationships. Furthermore, society as a whole is becoming increasingly disjointed. Ok. Và cuối cùng, phần conclusion, Nghi lại xem cho cô nó có mấy câu và câu nào để tóm tắt, lập luận chính, và câu nào là để kết bài ạ?
Dạ là conclusion có hai câu, câu đầu để tóm tắt và câu cuối để kết bài.
Chính xác, cô cảm ơn Nhi. Right, cô cũng đánh dấu 2 màu để Nhi để ý nhé. Ok, đó thì như vậy đấy là cấu trúc một cái bài khá là hoàn chỉnh và khá là đơn giản, rõ ràng đúng không ạ? Nhưng mà nó sẽ rất là hiệu quả. Đó, bởi vì các ý đều được thể hiện rõ ràng, mạch lạc, không bị tương phản với nhau. Ờ, ý ủng hộ thì đã được triển khai ở đoạn văn, ý đồng ý xin lỗi, ý đồng ý thì được triển khai ở đoạn văn thứ hai, còn ý không đồng ý thì được triển khai ở đoạn văn thứ nhất, và tất cả nó đều theo một mạch rõ ràng. Thì nghĩ thêm cho cô một cái nữa là cái câu closing là nó là recommendation, prediction hay là hope ạ?
Dạ là recommendation.
Good job. Chúng ta thấy có should đúng không ạ? Community should do more to try and involve local people in local activities in order to promote the future of community life. Well done. Rồi, như vậy cô trò mình vừa phân tích một cái bài mẫu nhé. Tuy nhiên như đây cũng chỉ là một hướng trả lời nhé. Cái dạng opinion nó khá là hay ở chỗ là nó có nhiều cách trả lời. Vì thế trong bài hôm nay, trong Unit 4 Writing, chúng ta sẽ làm quen với các cái cách trả lời khác nữa nhé. Ok, thế còn đấy, Nghi nhớ tham khảo cho cô này. Nếu chúng ta đồng ý, đấy thì chúng ta sẽ thường nêu ra lý do tại sao chúng ta đồng ý ủng hộ. Nếu chúng ta phản bác, chúng ta nêu ra lý do tại sao chúng ta phản bác. Đó, chẳng hạn đồng ý thì nó có là negative impact đúng không ạ? Vậy thì chúng ta nêu các cái negative impact của nó. Thế còn nếu chúng ta phản bác không phải là negative impact thì chúng ta nêu ra cái benefits của nó. Đó, thì bài này khá là rõ ràng như vậy nhé. Rồi bây giờ cô cho mình cùng vào luyện thêm phần Unit 4 Writing để chúng ta biết là vậy thì opinion còn cái cách triển khai bài nào khác không? Okay, so Unit 4 Finance and Business Agree and Disagree Essay. Let's explore the topic of finance and business first. Now, let's look at the term financial responsibility. What do you think it means, financial responsibility? Theo Nghi thì financial responsibility là gì ạ? Hoặc chúng ta có thể dịch sang tiếng Việt hoặc có thể đoán cho cô xem cái từ này nghĩa là gì?
I think financial responsibility, it means that you need to wisely manage your money so you can meet your current needs and like achieve your long-term financial goals. It means that you have to like spending saving wisely, and you have to prepare for unexpected financial situations.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, so you have explained very clearly. Well done. That's the first thing. So now let's look at the book and see what it will tells us about financial responsibility. So first off, the book says there is no clear definition for this term, financial responsibility. Some would argue that meeting your minimum credit card payment every month is being financially responsible, while others would disagree, saying that being in any kind of debt, however small, is irresponsible. Okay, so broadly speaking, being financially responsible might include not spending more than you earn, knowing the difference between luxuries and essentials, and adjusting your spending on each according to your earnings, saving for old age, and paying for things upfront rather than a credit card. Okay, so these are some answers from the textbook. Which one do you think you agree with the most?
I think I agree with the not spending more than you earn.
That's right. That's being financially responsible. I agree with you there. Okay, thank you very much. Let's come back to the Unit 4. Okay, so we've looked at and discussed the term financial responsibility. Now let's think about the two topics here, two statements here. Make a list of points that support or oppose the ideas. All right, think of examples, reasons, explanations, causes, and effect. All right, so because in this unit, we focus on agree or disagree essay. So in exercise 2, we brainstorm ideas that support, that agree, or oppose, that disagree with the statement. Okay, so they are number 1, people today are more concerned with owning material possessions than with developing friendships and family relationships. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, levels of consumer debt are increasing across the world. To address this, a new subject should be introduced in secondary schools: how to manage personal finances. All right, so I want you to make a list of supporting and opposing ideas. Let me see, at least one or ideal two, okay? 2 points for each side. Right. Rồi bây giờ nhá, cô muốn Nghi là chúng ta sẽ động não để suy nghĩ ra một số ý tưởng ủng hộ hoặc là phản bác, đồng ý hoặc không đồng ý đấy ạ, với cái nhận định 1 và 2 này, cả hai nhé. Và Nghi có thể lấy ví dụ, lý do, giải thích, phân tích nguyên nhân hệ quả. Thì cô Hà nêu cái điều kiện là ít nhất là 1, nhưng lý tưởng thì là hai ý ý để cho mỗi bên nhé, 2 ý ủng hộ, 2 ý phản bác. Như vậy là 22 là 4 cho 1 này, 22 là 4 cho 2 này. Như vậy là khoảng 8 ideas tất cả nhé. Alright, so do you understand this task?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I'd like you to type. I'd like you to type down your answers into a file in your computer, and then after that you can copy it into the chat box. Okay, I will give you 8 minutes, and after that we will discuss the ideas. Remember that your ideas can be given in a form of examples, reasons, explanations, causes, and effects. So there are lots of ways to support your point. Okay, Nghi, so how are you doing?
I have just finished the question one.
Okay. All right. So don't worry, we'll have time now to look at the answers from the course book. But before that, please quickly share with me what you have brainstormed. You can read that aloud or you can paste that into the chat box, please.
I was like making a mind map, so I cannot pass that in the chat box, so I would refer it aloud.
Okay, thank you very much. So
Um,
people today are more concerned with owning material possessions than with developing friendships and family relationships. You did this one, right?
yeah.
Okay, so what do you think? Supporting and opposing.
I think that I agree that people generally put position before relationship, as there are more modern technology appliances such as social media and phones, which means that people spend less time with families and friends and more time online. For example, people may work overtime to buy luxury things but miss out on family events or bonding moments. And for opposites, everybody uh, are growing awareness of mental health, so they now value emotional well-being and meaningful times with their families. Uh, and as the impact of COVID-19 pandemics, they have like strengthened appreciation for time with family and friends over another business. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, thank you very much. They are very valid points there. Okay, so let's refer to the answer in the chat box, in the book, and see if there are any new or interesting points. Okay, so let me see. I'll just copy this. Yes. All right. So statement number two is on the right, and ideas for statement number one is on the left. All right, so are the words big enough for you to see?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so please spend some time reading silently by yourself. And after that, can you tell me which ideas are new or interesting to you?
I finished.
Okay, so let's look at statement number one. People placing more importance on material possessions. So are there any new ideas to you?
Uh,
Or
no, yeah.
do you need me to explain any point?
No, I don't.
Okay, so can you tell me again, according to the answer in the book, what are the points that support statement number one?
Statement number one.
What points support? What ideas support statement number one?
What is statement number one? Is it agree or disagree?
Statement number one is, okay, here it is again. Okay, statement number one is, people today are more concerned with owning material possessions than with developing friendships and family relationships. Okay, so the main idea is owning material possessions more important than developing meaningful relationships. Okay, statement number two, levels of consumer debt are increasing across the world. To address this, a new subject should be introduced in secondary schools, how to manage personal finances. So the main idea is a new subject, how to manage personal finances, should be introduced in secondary school. Okay, so that's statement one and statement two. Now, you've read the answers.
I think that the first, second, and the fourth sentence support statement number one.
Okay, so can you tell me what that is? Just in your own words or read that aloud?
Today's workplaces a high value on consumer spending and having the most up-to-date version of technology. Human nature is competitive and people want to possess more and have better products. Technological developments such as social media and new electronic devices mean that people spend less time communicating face-to-face and more time online.
That's right. Good job. So those ideas, those three supporting ideas, those ideas are what you can use to support the statement number one. Okay, material possession more important than relationships. Okay, what about opposing, disagreeing? What points disagree with statement one?
However, it can be argued that social media make it easier for people to communicate with friends and family wherever they are in the world.
Anything else?
It is a generalization to say that everybody puts positions before relationships.
That's right. Good job. So there are two ideas to disagree with statement one. Well done. Okay, so statement two, managing personal finances should be taught in secondary school. So that's statement two. Can you tell me the ideas that support statement two?
The consumer nature of society encourages people to spend money on things that they cannot necessarily afford, and young adults are less experienced when it comes to making financial decisions. Most teenagers leave school without a basic understanding of personal finance, such as how credit cards work or what is involved when getting a mortgage. So they don't necessarily realize how to make sure they avoid getting into serious debt. Banks and money lenders encourage debt, but because this is how they make their money.
Good job. So these are all statements that support the teaching of managing personal finances so that people, especially teenagers and young people, know how to better manage their finance. Good job. So just a few keywords here. So firstly, adults. Can you say that again? Adults.
Adults.
That's right. This word has two ways you can say adults, like that. The second syllable is a stress. Or you can say adults, adults. Okay, that's another way. Now, this one is mortgage, mortgage. Can you say that?
Mortgage.
That's right. That's a silent T. And a mortgage in Vietnamese, khoản vay thế chấp. Okay, so basically a mortgage is when you want to buy a very large, important item, expensive item like a house. Yeah, you ask for a loan from the bank. You get a mortgage from the bank. So the bank will send a person there to inspect the house. And they will look at your personal finance situation and they will give you a loan, some money to buy the house. And you will pay them back with the money that you borrow and the interest. So the added money. Yeah. And you have to pay them back monthly and yearly until all the debt is paid. But if you cannot pay your mortgage, or if you don't pay on time, your house will be taken by the bank and you will still need to pay the money. Yeah, right. So that's a mortgage. Vay thế chấp. All right. Okay. No, not debt. Can you say that? Debt.
Debt.
It's a silent B. So you just say debt. Can you say that again? Debt.
Debt.
That's right. So a debt is the money that you borrow from someone and you must pay back. Yeah, so remember those three words, pronunciation and meaning. Okay, so adults or adults, and mortgage and debt. So yeah, remember a mortgage is when you borrow money from the bank to buy a house and you have to pay the money back plus interest, so added money. And if you fail to pay on your mortgage, the house will be taken by the bank. Yeah, so don't get into serious debt. All right. So on the other hand, you see here, on the other hand, so these statements disagree. People are free to choose what they want to buy, and everybody has to take responsibility for how they manage their own personal finances. So only one idea to go against statement number 2, right? So you see, maybe this writer is supporting statement number 2. We don't know that, but according to the number of ideas, yeah, we see there are more agree ideas, more supporting ideas. All right. Okay, so those are some ideas you can use to discuss the topic of personal finances, such as in statement 2, and material possessions, such as in statement 1. All right, so now let's move on to look at more detail the agree or disagree essay. So we know statement 1 and 2, right? However, when there are added phrases or added adverbs and adjectives, the tone of the message, the tone of the question will be different, and they will affect how you answer. Okay, can you just look at 1AB, 2AB? Notice how the italicized words affect the meaning. Okay, so discuss how the italicized words in each statement B might change your approach to the question when compared to statement A. So just spend around 2 minutes reading through 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, and think how you might change your answer when there are added words. So number 1A, people today are more concerned with owning material possessions than with developing friendships and family relationships. So that we saw that in lead-in, right? But now there's 1B. People today are only concerned with material possessions, even if it has negative effects on friendships and family relationships. So what do you think about 1A and 1B? How would you answer A and how would you answer B?
I think the questions B is like a little bit more urgent because it has like a negative effects on friendships and family relationships where we have to address the effects too, but questions A don't ask us to do so.
Okay, so A is actually more neutral, more factual, more concerned with than developing. Okay, but B is more extreme. So you see, only people today are only concerned with, even if it has a negative effect on. So with language like B, you are more likely to disagree, and your opinion might be stronger than A. So with A, you can have a softer voice, you can have a softer kind of language. But with B, maybe you would say, I completely disagree with this statement. To say people today are only concerned with material possession is a strong generalization, and I disagree. I strongly disagree. Okay, and the same goes for number 2. Levels of consumer debt are increasing dramatically across the world. To address this, a new compulsory subject must be introduced in all secondary schools. So yeah, you see the language. Yeah, make sure you consider every word in the question. Try to analyze closely what the question is asking you to do. It may be different to the idea you think initially. Okay, so pay attention carefully to the words because they will affect how you answer the question. Okay, so maybe A, you can agree with it in certain aspect and disagree with it in certain aspects. However, for statements like B, well, if you agree, well, I would say you strongly agree. If you disagree, I'd say you strongly disagree. So remember, I told you about the the degree, okay? Strongly, completely, okay? So these words would be suitable for B statements. So strongly agree, strongly disagree, completely disagree. Okay, but statement A, you can have strongly or completely, and you can have to some extent. I agree to some extent. I disagree to some extent, or somewhat. I somewhat agree, I somewhat disagree. Ok, đó thì đến đây thì để cô nhắc Nghi là cái bài mà nó hỏi là to what extent do you agree or disagree, thì ngoài cái việc là chúng ta nêu là chúng ta agree hay là disagree, chúng ta cần thêm các cái trạng từ để thể hiện cái mức độ, cái degree mà chúng ta đồng ý hay không đồng ý. Thế nên con sẽ thấy cho cô là với các cái statement A ấy ạ, đó thì đôi lúc là chúng ta có thể là to some extent hoặc là somewhat để thể hiện là chúng ta có đồng ý ở khía cạnh này nhưng chúng ta lại không đồng ý ở khía cạnh kia, giống như là bài của cô Liz đúng không ạ? Cô ấy đồng ý ở khía cạnh đồng ý ở khía cạnh social nhưng mà không đồng ý ở khía cạnh individual, ví dụ thế. Thế thì khi mà ngôn ngữ trong bài nó khá là thoáng ấy, nó khá là nhẹ nhàng bình thường thì chúng ta có thể dùng to some extent hoặc somewhat. Thế còn nếu ngôn ngữ trong bài nó rất là gắt, nó rất là cực đoan, nó rất là extreme thì thường chúng ta sẽ đáp lại bằng những cái trạng từ mạnh, thì nó sẽ hợp lý với việc phản bác một cái quan điểm rất là mạnh mẽ như thế, strongly và completely. Đó. Ok, thì đây là các cái mức độ chúng ta có thể sử dụng để thể hiện cái sự đồng ý không đồng ý của mình. Alright. Okay. Như vậy là bài 3 này thì họ giới thiệu với chúng ta cái kỹ năng là phân tích từ ở trong cái nhận định, để từ đó là chúng ta quyết định cái ngôn ngữ trong cái bài viết của mình nhé. Alright. Bây giờ cô xin mời Nghi tham khảo cách viết mở bài, writing an introduction. Okay, so let's have a look at this task. People today are more concerned with owning material possessions than with developing friendships and family relationships. To what extent do you agree with this statement? Okay, so we know that an introduction needs to have an overview, a background and a plan, right? Now I'd like you to look at introductions 1, 2, 3, 4, and match them with the teacher's comment A, B, C, D, please.
Con xong rồi.
Okay, thank you very much, Nghi. So let's have a look. Introduction 1. What is the comment for this one, please? Can you just tell me?
The first one, it doesn't have explanation on why the writers agree or disagree.
So there's only a background, right? It's been argued that in today's world, everybody spends more of their time preoccupied with what they buy and less concerned with maintaining close ties with the people around them. So they have paraphrased the statement, the question statement well, but they haven't explained how they will answer the question, or actually they haven't expressed their opinion. So number 1. So 1 is what letter, please? What comment?
D.
Thank you very much. Okay, number 2, it is said that people today are more concerned with owning material possessions. Wow, this sounds familiar, right? So what do you think? What is the problem with this one?
It repeats the exact questions.
Yeah. So it's B, right? Hello, Nghi. Is it B?
Yeah, it is B.
Okay. All right. Number 3, please.
It doesn't have a background.
Yeah. So contrary to number 1, paraphrase the question quite well, but no plan. So number 3, a plan with the opinion, but no background. So yeah, and number 4, what is the comment for number 4, please?
It's C.
C. Yeah, this is a good introduction. Paraphrase the question, clearly explain the line of argument you take. Okay, so can you just have a look at number 4 again and tell me what is the opinion of the writer?
I think the opinion is they disagree.
So they still remain very objective. Nghĩa là cái người viết này họ vẫn rất là khách quan. Họ công nhận là có một cái điều gì đấy đúng. Yeah, there is some truth in the assertion that the world has become more materialistic. Đó. Nghĩa là khi mà mình viết cái dạng opinion này, chúng ta không phải phủ định luôn cái quan điểm mà chúng ta bất đồng với nhé. Chúng ta sẽ có thể là công nhận nó có một cái điều gì đấy, một cái khía cạnh gì đấy đúng ạ. Hoặc là chúng ta hiểu nó ở một cái khía cạnh nào đó. Nhưng sau đó chúng ta vẫn làm nổi bật cái quan điểm của chúng ta ra. It is not necessarily true that this is at the cost of our loved ones. Good job. So this is disagree. Well done, Nghi. Nhá, thì qua cái bài introduction 4 này, cô cũng hy vọng là Nghi con sẽ học được cách viết một cách khách quan như thế nhé. Đầu tiên là diễn giải rất là tốt này, paraphrase rất là tốt. It has been suggested that these days we tend to prioritize the accumulation of possessions, more concerned with owning material possessions. Đó. Over the development of relationships with those closest to us, friendships and family relationships. While there is some truth, it is not necessarily true that. Okay. Thì đây là cách viết khá là khách quan và học thuật, chúng ta nên học theo. Okay, so now we have known how to write a good introduction for the opinion essay. Remember, there are 2 parts like that. And you must express your opinion clearly. So now let's look at the body paragraphs. Let's look at the following plans for 3 essays for the task in exercise 4. This one. Okay. The main body only, introduction and conclusion missing. All right. Now, I'd like you to discuss how each essay differs in its overall approach to answer the questions. Right? So, Nghi, I'd like you to spend around 5 minutes. Just look at the plan. Essay type 1, type 2, and type 3. And just tell me what you think about the organization. How does it approach? What might be the overall opinion of the writer? So what is included in each essay type? How many paragraphs are there? What does each paragraph do? What do you think is the overall opinion of the writer?
I have finished.
Okay, all right. So now let's analyze these three structures together. So now let's look at essay type 1. How many body paragraphs there are?
There are 2 body paragraphs.
Okay, what does paragraph 1 do, please?
The paragraph ones shows the writer's agreed points. And
So paragraph 1 is agreeing with the fact that people are more concerned with material possessions, right? So what are the two supporting ideas?
the 2 supporting ideas is that the sales of gadgets is high, and gadgets allow you to create social media profiles.
Okay, so there are two supporting ideas. All right, and that makes paragraph 2 disagree. And so the supporting points are people always need human contact. All right, material possessions actually allow more contact with friends and family. For example, smartphones and social media help us connect with family and friends. Good job. All right, so what do you think is the overall opinion of the writer? Can you find out through this structure?
I think the writer's opinion is neutral,
Hmm.
and they haven't stated their opinion yet, but I think they will do it later on, not in the
Mm-hmm.
introduction.
Okay, so that's the problem with essay type 1. Okay, essay type 1 is actually very easy to write because you spend one body paragraph to write about the point disagree, one body paragraph to write upon about the point agree, for example. So it's very easy to write. However, the problem with this is that if you don't state your opinion clearly in the other paragraphs, which are the introduction and the conclusion, you will risk not answering the question because the question asks you to what extent you agree with this statement, and you go on and say the point for agree, and you go on and say the point for disagree, and not answering. So that's not answering. So if you use this one, it's very easy to write. However, if you use this one, pay attention that you need to express your opinion very clearly in the beginning, in the introduction, and in the conclusion as well. However, I do not suggest that you use essay type 1. Yeah, because it might make your opinion unclear. And another point, to what extent do you agree or disagree? I don't think you should stay neutral because then your opinion is not clear. If you say you're neutral, then it means you don't have an opinion, and the question is asking what is your opinion. So if you say that, if you're neutral, or you say you don't have an opinion, then you are not answering the question. So for IELTS opinion essay, it is safe to choose one side only. Okay, don't stay in the middle, and don't stay in the middle, and don't say you're neutral. Don't say you don't have any opinion. All right. So for example, for this essay we read at the beginning, while I believe that, so this is an opinion, such sites are mainly beneficial to the individual. So this is disagree at the individual level. I agree that they have damaging effect on local communities. So this is agree at the societal level. So there you go. Even though the writer divides her argument into two directions, individual level and social level, she does not say, I'm neutral. She does not say, I don't have an opinion. And what she said is actually, I disagree at the individual level and I agree at the social level. Okay, so be careful. For opinion essay, choose one side. Choose either agree or disagree, or agree with one aspect and disagree with one aspect, like this one, like this essay. Okay, don't say we're neutral, or don't say we don't have an opinion, because when you say that, you are not answering the question. Do you see my point?
Yes, I do.
Ok, rồi, thế nhá, cô nhắc lại với Nhi nhá, là với dạng bài opinion, tại vì người ta hỏi là to what extent do you agree, hoặc là to what extent do you agree or disagree đó, thì cái cách an toàn nhất là chúng ta sẽ phải chọn một bên cho cô. Đó, và nếu mà đề có nhiều khía cạnh như là cái bài mẫu chúng ta đọc ở đầu giờ đúng không ạ, thì chúng ta có thể tách cái lập luận của chúng ta thành thành những cái level khác nhau, và mình có thể đồng ý hoặc không đồng ý ở những cái level khác nhau. Đó, nhưng dù là tách ra hay là gộp lại thì chúng ta vẫn phải thật sự là rõ ràng một bên, hoặc là agree hoặc là disagree. Chúng ta không được sit on the fence. Hồi xưa cô giáo cô bảo là cái idioms là don't sit on the fence, nghĩa là chúng ta đừng có đứng ở giữa, đừng có trung lập. Đó, bởi vì đấy là đặc điểm của văn học thuật, và đặc biệt là đặc điểm của dạng bài opinion, là chúng ta không được trung lập, chúng ta không được không có quan điểm gì cả, và chúng ta sẽ phải chọn một trong hai bên dù ở cấp độ nào đi chăng nữa. Ok, vì thế nhá, cái essay type 1 này mặc dù nó rất là dễ viết, và nếu chúng ta chọn nhá thì chúng ta phải thật sự là rõ ràng về cái quan điểm của mình ở trong phần introduction và phần conclusion, là mình theo cái hướng nào. Ok, thế còn type 2 nào, xin mời Nghi tóm lược lại cái cấu trúc của type 2 cho cô với.
Dạ là type 2 có 3 đoạn polyparagraph, trong đó có 2 đoạn agree và 1 đoạn disagree, nên là bài này nó sẽ thiên về agree hơn.
Chính xác, và đó thì như vậy chúng ta thấy là cải tiến hơn nhiều so với type 1 đúng không ạ, là nó thiên về là mình theo cái quan điểm nào thì chúng ta sẽ có nhiều nội dung cho quan điểm ấy hơn. Chẳng hạn như là agree today's world is more materialistic, economy relies on debt and consumer spending, more luxury goods, and communications are less personal. Okay, but disagree. Not everyone is materialistic, and some cultures still maintain family units. All right. However, there are two body paragraphs, so agree. So it's likely that the writer of this essay agrees with the statement in exercise 4. Okay. Now let's look at type 3. Type 3 is, I think, is the most interesting here. And if I were to write an opinion essay, I choose type 3. Can you tell me, can you just look at the plan and quickly tell me what is the overall opinion of the writer?
They disagree with the statement.
Disagree. Okay, that's right. So paragraph 1, the writer spent one body paragraph to disagree. This is the writer's main opinion. Most people understand that material possessions are less important than human relationships. Owning material possession does not mean greed. Okay, and then in paragraph 2, what the writer is doing is acknowledging the opposing view and counter-argue that. All right, so opposing view is agree. Some people point to popularity of TV shows about being rich as materialistic. Other people argue that greed and selfishness is rewarded with money and status. So this is the opposing view. So this is the views that agree with the statement in exercise 4. However, there have always been materialistic people obsessed with status, and not necessarily people today. It is just more visible with modern media. Okay, so you see this paragraph, they point out the opposing view, the views that agree, for example, and then they counter-argue that. They counter-argue that point. All right, so this is one way you can approach opinion essay. Alright. Rồi nhá, nếu mà Nghi mà viết bài opinion thì cô sẽ khuyên Nghi là có thể dùng type 2. Rất là dễ viết bởi vì chúng ta sẽ dành nhiều nội dung hơn cho phần agree. Hoặc cô rất là thích type 3 ạ. Type 3 cô hay gọi là counter argument. Tại sao? Tại vì nó sẽ dành một cái body paragraph để acknowledge, để công nhận cái quan điểm đối lập. Sau đó chúng ta counter argue, chúng ta phản bác lại nó. Đó, để disagree đó. Ok, và dành hoàn toàn một body paragraph khác để bảo vệ cái quan điểm của mình. Alright, thì như vậy là cái bài nó sẽ rất là strong, cái lập luận nó sẽ rất là mạnh và chặt chẽ, bởi vì chúng ta dành nguyên một body paragraph để chúng ta thể hiện cái quan điểm của chúng ta. Đó, sau đó nguyên một body paragraph để nêu quan điểm đối lập và phản bác cái quan điểm đối lập đó nhé. Alright, okay, so do you understand the three types now?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. So let's see this one. This one that we just read. Okay, what type does it follow? What essay type does it follow?
I think it's type 2.
Can you just have a look again? Okay,
Type 3.
so here are 3 types, and here's the essay. Okay, so what do you think?
I think it's
Don't think about my opinion, okay? I told you I dislike type 1, but all of these types are possible for opinion essay, right? There's just some problem with type 1 if you don't express your opinion clearly. But if you do that well, all of these types are possible ways to answer opinion essay. 1, 2, and 3, all of them. Okay, so what type is most similar to Miss Liz's essay?
it's type 1.
Okay, now, yes, if it's type 1, body paragraph 1, which side is it? Disagree or agree? Okay, here's the question again. Many people believe that social networking sites such as Facebook have had a huge negative impact on both individuals and society. To what extent do you agree? So, body paragraph 1, does it agree or disagree with that question? The statement in the question.
It's agree
Why do you think it's agree?
because huge impact. Oh no, it's disagree
And why do you think it's disagree?
because it's have beneficial to individuals.
That's right. So it doesn't have a huge negative impact on the individual level. There you go. So you be careful, right? Nghĩa là con sẽ cẩn thận nha cô nhé. Mặc dù là các cái type 1, type 2, type 3 nó ghi là paragraph 1 agree, paragraph 2 disagree hay là vân vân ấy, thì đấy chỉ là cái ví dụ thôi ạ. Con lưu ý cho cô nhé, đấy chỉ là cái ví dụ thôi. Thế còn khi mình triển khai bài ấy, thì con thích để đoạn nào là agree, để đoạn nào là disagree cũng được, miễn là cái quan điểm của con nó phải rõ ràng và nó phải nhất quán từ đầu đến cuối. Đó nhé. Thế như vậy chúng ta sẽ thấy là cái bài của cô list là cô đi theo type 1. Tuy nhiên type 1 cô ấy lại viết rất là tốt, đúng không ạ? Body 1 cô ấy disagree và body 2 cô ấy agree. Đó. Thế nhưng vấn đề không phải ở chỗ là cô dành body 1, body 2 để làm gì, mà vấn đề là cái opinion của cô ấy được nêu rất là rõ ràng từ đầu bài cho đến cuối bài, và cái phần triển khai thì cũng rất là mạch lạc và chặt chẽ. Đó. However, while I believe such sites are mainly beneficial to the individual, còn nói cách khác, nếu con không thích dùng cái kiểu là beneficial đúng không ạ? While I disagree that such sites have harmful impacts on the individuals, I agree that they have had a damaging effect on local communities. Đó, nghĩa là tùy cái phong cách viết của chúng ta thích dùng từ thế nào thôi. Đó, nhưng vấn đề là mình phải làm cho nó rõ. Mình agree là agree, mình disagree là disagree. Và với cái gì đúng không ạ? Agree với cái statement ở trong đề bài, disagree với cái statement trong đề bài. Đó. Ok, thì cô mới hỏi Nghi lại để chắc chắn xem là con có hiểu cấu trúc của ba cái dạng bài này không đó. Thì như vậy là con hiểu rất là tốt rồi nhé. Đó, cô chỉ nhắc Nghi là cái agree, disagree vân vân ở trong cái bài số 5 này trong giáo trình này thì người ta đưa ra như vậy là để người ta làm ví dụ nhé. Thế còn ấy, để cô nhắc lại nhé, essay type 1 là dạng cân bằng. Con sẽ dành một body để con phân tích cái mặt agree hoặc là ngược lại, và body paragraph 2 để con phân tích mặt disagree hoặc là ngược lại nhé. Thì chúng ta tóm lại là mình sẽ sắp xếp cho nó cân bằng, một bên thì agree, một bên thì disagree. Đó. Và essay type 2 thì mình sẽ ưu tiên cái phần quan điểm của mình hơn. Ví dụ như trong bài 5 này, quan điểm của mình là agree thì mình sẽ dành 2 cái body paragraph để agree. Còn ngược lại, disagree thì chỉ dành một body paragraph thôi. Thế còn type 3 thì quan điểm của chúng ta là gì, chẳng hạn là disagree chẳng hạn, chúng ta sẽ dành một body paragraph để phân tích cái quan điểm đó. Và body paragraph còn lại chúng ta sẽ phân tích quan điểm đối lập và phản bác nó. Ok. Rồi, như vậy là mình đã hiểu được cái nội dung của cả ba cái dạng thân bài của opinion essay rồi nhé. Đây là 3 cách viết ạ. Right, thì bây giờ cô xin mời Nghi, con sẽ phân tích một cái bài nhé. For this next agree disagree question, read the arguments that the candidate has written for the essay. Put a tick if the argument is in favor of the statement and put a cross if the argument is against it. Đó, tóm lại Nghi nhé, con sẽ xem cái đề này và tick các chỗ agree và cross các chỗ disagree. Ok. Và nếu có chỗ number gaps, ok, nghĩa là cái chỗ trống này ha. Ok, cái chỗ trống này thì ignore. Alright, cái chỗ trống mình có bỏ qua. Okay, so Nghi, idea 1, idea 2, idea 3, idea 4, and 5. 5 ideas. Please have a look and tell me which ones are agree and which ones are disagree.
Dạ con xong rồi.
Very good, Nghi. So let's have a look at idea in number 1. So, how to manage personal finances. The subject should be introduced in secondary school. So number 1, is it a tick or a cross?
It's a tick.
Good job, well done. A tick. Number 2, I believe teaching teenagers how to manage their money would be vital. Okay, so number 2, please. Is it a tick or a cross?
It's a tick.
That's right. So number 1 and 2 are supporting or agreeing with the statement in the question. So that's agree. Okay, number 3, some would argue that teenagers are often too immature to become truly financially responsible. What do you think this is? A tick or cross?
Cross.
That's right. Good job. Others point out that teaching the concepts of financial responsibilities would unfairly favor those students who are good at math. What do you think this is?
It's a cross.
Okay. In my experience, neither of these last 2 points are particularly valid. Most teenagers are keen to become financially independent, while the best mathematicians can experience difficulties with money. So what do you think is number 5?
It's a tick.
Good job. Well done, Nghi. So you've completed exercise 6 really well. So Do you see something familiar? What plan is this? Okay, just remember plan 1, type 1, type 2, type 3. So if you have to group the ideas into the types, essay type 1, essay type 2, essay type 3, which do you think? Which type would you group? Okay, so I'll just copy this and I'll delete everything on the screen and view 2 pages. Okay, so can you have a look at the 5 points here? If you have to choose essay type 1, essay type 2, and essay type 3 for this, which one would you choose?
I think type 2
And why would you choose type 2?
because there are more agree points.
So how would you group the paragraphs into type 2?
I would group that the sentence 1 and 2 into a paragraph, and sentence 5 into a paragraph, and sentence 4 and 3 and 4 into another paragraph.
So 1 and 2 a body paragraph for agree, and 5 for another body paragraph for agree, right?
But I could choose like essay type 3 too, because type 3 I would be 1 and 2 a paragraph, and 3, 4, 5 a paragraph.
So which one do you think is better? Type 2 or type 3?
I think it's type 3.
Yeah. So what made you decide to move to type 3?
Because I see where I look closer, I see that they have like restate the question.
Okay. And do you see neither of these last 2 points? So because there is a direct link, neither of these last 2 points, meaning point 4 and point 3. There you go. So there's a direct link between number 3, 4 and number 5. That makes essay type 3 the most suitable development for this body paragraphs. Okay, so we'll have 1 and 2 in one body paragraph. And this body paragraph agrees with the statement in the question. How to manage personal finances should be taught at secondary school. And number 3, 4, and 5 in one body paragraph, with number 3 and number 4 disagreeing with the statement that managing personal finances should be taught at school. And number 5 will counter-argue number 3 and 4. So you see the flow of idea there? Nghi đã
Yes, I
thấy các bạn ý chưa? Ok, rồi, good job. Đó nhá, như vậy là chúng ta đã chọn rất là tốt đấy ạ. Chính xác. Essay type 3. Okay. So now, if you have to put that into a complete essay, remember you need to link the ideas with discourse markers. All right. So now, sequencing ideas. For this kind of essay, for opinion essay, think carefully about the discourse markers you will use to form a logical essay structure and to present arguments within your paragraphs. So you will use sequence markers, firstly, secondly, to present different arguments in order. Okay, 1 and 2, right? Firstly, secondly. You will use additional markers in addition, furthermore, moreover, to extend or develop your ideas further. And you will use contrast markers, however, despite this, on the other hand, to introduce points on the other side of the argument. Okay, so you can sequence, you can add ideas, and you can contrast ideas. So now we have this essay. And we have 1, 2, 3, and 5. Okay, now I like you to look at number 8, exercise 8. Look at the arguments in exercise 6 and which of the discourse markers in this group of 3 does not go into the gap. Okay, so Nghi, your job is to look at gap number 1, 2, 3, and 5 and select the one that does not go into the gap. So we know which one goes into the gap and which one does not go into the gap. All right? So you have 4 minutes to do exercise 8. Find the one that does not go into the gap.
Finished.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. Right, so now, can you tell me which one goes? I know the question asks you to select one that does not, but I want you to focus on the one that do as well, okay? So firstly, tell me which ones go into the gap and which one does not go into the gap. So number 1, please.
First, and to begin with, will go in the gaps, and primarily won't go into the gaps.
Good job, well done. All right, number 2, please.
Secondly and next will go to the gap, but following won't.
Well done, that's it. Good job. Number 3.
That said, and on the other hand, but alternatively won't.
Very good. And number 5.
In spite of this, and despite of this, and despite of this won't.
Okay, it's a bit of a tongue twister, right? So yes, despite of this is incorrect. So it does not go into the gap. Yes, and in spite of this and despite this can be used to contrast information. So congratulations, me. So you can see in exercise 8, the ones that does not go into the gap are primarily, following, alternatively, and despite of this. Okay, and the other ones are correct. So the first idea goes with first to begin with. The second idea goes with secondly or next. And to move on to a new contrasting paragraph, you can say that's it, or on the other hand. And to counter argue those ideas, you say in spite of this or despite this. Okay, primarily does not normally go at the beginning of a sentence, or if it does, it wants to point out something that is a major factor, a major cause. For example, she did not want to go to the party primarily because Jason was there and she doesn't like Jason. Yeah, so primarily, like the main idea is that. Okay, and following, normally it's following that, and it's used to sequence like a step in a process, and normally it's yeah, the following step does not stand alone. Alternatively is like a choice. Yeah. Today we have a day off, so we can go out. Alternatively, we can go to the park, or we can stay in. Yeah. Okay. So despite of this is the only one that's incorrect in this choice. Okay, well done. So Nghi, you've read some examples of introduction. Okay, you've read the types of essay of body paragraphs you can use in opinion. If you use type 1, it's easy to write, but remember to express your opinion clearly from the beginning and at the end of the essay. That's the same thing goes for type 2 and type 3. Okay, right, but type 2 and type 3, your opinions are much clearer when you spend more body paragraphs for that, or you spend time counter-argue the opposing point. And then we looked at some ideas and body paragraph of the managing personal finances statement. Okay, the rest, let me see, we have exercise 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Let me see. Do you want to do this at home as homework, or do you want to do them in the next class with me?
I think I can do this as homework.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your effort. So I'll just quickly give you some instruction. So for exercise 9, we are looking at the development of the body paragraph. In particular, the use of discourse markers to develop your paragraph. So for example, both paragraph A and B would lose credit for the way they answer because they don't develop it logically, and especially they use discourse markers incorrectly. Okay, so your job is to read the task carefully and to read the paragraph A, paragraph B carefully and see what is the illogical thing in their answer, right? So the reason why they lose credit. And exercise 10, you rewrite paragraph A. You rewrite paragraph A so that it is logical. Okay. And for exercise 11 and 12 and 13, you learn to write a conclusion. So basically, a conclusion has two parts. You summarize the main idea, you summarize the main arguments, and you make a closing to the essay. Okay, you can read in detail on this page. And exercise 14 is to answer a complete opinion essay. All right, so your homework is exercise 9 to 14. Do you think you have more time to do the skills modules as well?
I think I will do that.
Okay, right. So I don't want to put much stress on you, but if you can, I highly encourage you. Okay, so your homework is in the student book, exercise 9 to 14, and unit 4 writing skills modules. Okay, thank you for your enthusiasm and bravery choosing more homework. Okay, I hope that you will learn many useful things, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. So today we have learned opinion essay, unit 4 writing. I look forward to seeing you this Tuesday, 8 p.m. We'll review opinion essay and do some practice writing. Do you have any questions for this lesson?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you very much. Good night. Have a lovely weekend and see you next Tuesday.